Hello, this is Lady Boulay, and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Thank you for your support. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for your thumbs up, for your comments. Thank you for all you do to support the channel. And yes, we are commanded to love one another, whether we want to or not, or whether we agree with each other or not. Hollywood, that great mysterious place in that faraway land called California, has been really the downfall of many Black American people, not to mention white Americans too. Hollywood has an allure, a mystique that draws people who want to be in entertainment, who want to be on the stage, who want to be seen to it. But what has Hollywood done for Black people? Well, one thing that Hollywood has done for Black people is to exploit Black culture to the nth degree. Hollywood has benefited more from as much, I'll say, from Black American culture as the slave masters. It has robbed Black people, it has used Black people, and it has discarded Black people. And yet Black people continue to run back to Hollywood for fairness and equality and diversity and equal pay. So today I'm talking about Black women in Hollywood and their complaints about not getting fair pay for their talent, and they don't. They don't get fair pay for their talent. Now, we know that Living Single was a popular comedy series starring some of our favorite Black actors and actresses. Many of us really liked that show because it was clean, it was funny, and they talked about issues that were relevant to young Black professionals. So it was a real hit among Black people. It stayed on the air for 5 seasons. But what did Hollywood do? At the height of its success, they canceled Living Single. And the next thing we knew, they had copied the format of Living Single and turned it into a cast of white actors and were calling it Friends. That was intellectual theft. But that's what they did. And another thing that has been observed, when they come up with these little TNTs and TBSs and these little cable channels, what they will do is get Black shows, stack those channels with Black talent, usually comedies, and Black people will watch it and it will become a hit. And then once they get people watching it, they will cancel the Black shows, and then here comes a cast of white people imitating what the Black people were doing to a large extent. So this is what Hollywood does for Black people. And it didn't just start with these modern day Black actors and actresses. This goes way back. Nat King Cole, who was the it singer of his day. What they say about Capitol Records in Hollywood, that building, they say Nat King Cole paid for that building with his records. But his bank account did not reflect the amount of money that he was making. The same thing happened to Louis Armstrong. They say Louis Armstrong owned a house in Queens, New York, but his manager owned the block. His manager didn't know how to sing or play the trumpet. But this is the robbery that goes on. See, what we don't really want to accept in our modern age is that these people are still trying to get slave labor out of Black people. That has never left their minds. So you have to be thinking for yourself. And I'll give another example. The movie that Beyonce played the lead in, and I thought she was very good in that movie, Cadillac Records. That gives you an idea about how Black people got ripped off back in the day from the record companies, and they're still getting ripped off. And that movie was based on a true story. The blues singer Muddy Waters was signed to that record label. Every time Muddy Waters had a hit record, the owner of that record company would buy him a new car. And then when Howlin' Wolf came up, and they came up from Mississippi, when Howlin' Wolf came up there in his raggedy truck, and he had a hit record. And I love Smokestack Lightning. Y'all should just watch that movie just to hear that actor sing Smokestack Lightning. But anyway, the owner of the record company was going to try to buy him a car. And he said, no, pay me my money. He still died broke. They're always going to lowball the black talent. But they're going to take your gift and expand it into white society. When you go through the state of Mississippi now, they have signs up saying, home of America's music. What they meant to say was, home of black Americans' music. But they didn't want to give them the money. They would buy them a car which is going to depreciate the minute you drive it off the lot. But this is what has always happened to black people. And the same people that are running those Hollywood studios are running the record companies. Same people. But it's all about getting the most amount of work from black people, robbing you of your talent, and paying you the least amount of money. So who's complaining? Let's see. Taraji's complaining. She says, I'm just tired of working so hard, being gracious at what I do, and getting paid a fraction of the cost. I'm tired of hearing my sisters say the same thing over and over. You get tired. I hear people go, you work a lot. Well, I have to. The math ain't mathing. When you start working a lot, you have a team. Big bills come with what we do. We don't do this alone. It's a whole team behind us. They have to get paid. She went on, I'm only human. Every time I do something and break another glass ceiling, when it's time to renegotiate, I'm at the bottom again like I never did what I just did. And I'm tired. I'm tired. It wears on you. What does that mean? What is that telling me? If I can't fight for them coming up behind me, then what the F am I doing? So that was Taraji's frustration. Look who else is complaining and has been complaining for a long time. Monique is the one who really broke the story. So Monique is extra. She does a little extra. But the thing that Monique knows is that she knows her worth. And she knows that they're not paying her what she's worth. And it is about race. Taraji says, well, what am I doing? What you're doing is working in somebody else's industry. You're taking your talent and selling it to somebody else. And they are paying you not what you're worth, but what they want to pay you because you want to work in their industry. It really is that simple. Let's see what Monique says. In a 2016 interview with Variety, Monique was asked the value of the Oscar that she had won for her role in the movie Precious. And she said, to ask me about a trophy is really irrelevant. It's just a trophy. But why is there such a pay gap? If there's a black film coming out and it's an all-black cast, why is it that it's a low-budget film? The offers I sometimes receive are less than I got 11 years ago, and that's before I won the Oscar. Monique even sued Netflix for alleged gender and racial bias when it came to negotiating her stand-up salary. Because remember, they were trying to pay her some small amount of money to do a Netflix special and was paying Amy Schumer, who nobody even knew about, millions of dollars. So she complained about it. But again, you're working in somebody else's industry and they're setting the price. And they're always going to lowball the black actors and any non-white actors. They're not going to pay you what they pay the white people. That's what white supremacy is. Well, let's see who else is complaining. Viola Davis, the EGOT of acting, is complaining. She has won an Emmy, a Grammy, an Oscar, and a Tony Award, and she's complaining about the pay gap. Viola Davis made note of the gender race pay gap in Hollywood back in 2018, noting that while white women earn less than white men, women of color are forced to essentially fight for scraps despite the talent and accolades that should establish their worth. What we're getting paid, which is half of what a man is getting paid, well, we get probably a tenth of what a Caucasian woman gets. And I'm number one on the call sheet, she said at the time, referring to African American women in an interview for Women in the World. Davis also named peers such as Meryl Streep, Julianne Moore, and Sigourney Weaver, who make significantly more than she does, despite them all having similar backgrounds and resumes. I got the Oscar, I got the Emmy, I got the 2 Tonys, I've done Broadway, I've done off-Broadway, I've done TV, I've done film, I've done it all, she said. And yet, I am nowhere near them, not as far as money, not as far as job opportunities, nowhere close to it. People say, you're a black Meryl Streep. You are. And we love you. We love you. There is no one like you. Okay, then, if there's no one like me, if you think I'm that, you pay me what I'm worth. You give me what I'm worth. So, here we go again, the best in the business. And she's not getting paid what she's worth. Well, maybe I don't understand Hollywood, but I would be offended calling me a black anything. You're a black whoever you are, not a black white woman. All right. Who else is complaining? And who have we here? One of our favorites, Angela Basset, is complaining. Angela Basset has been robbed so many times too. I think she handles it with grace and class. She was robbed of her Oscar for her portrayal of Tina Turner. She was robbed of this Oscar last season when they had her all propped up about the Oscar for her role in Wakanda Forever, then came back and said, well, they never give an Oscar to somebody in one of those Marvel studio movies or something like that. Well, why you even nominate her for it then if you never give it to somebody in one of those movies? So anyway, a lot of us were disappointed over that. And she's done other outstanding performances and hasn't been recognized. So the low pay is just another slap in the face in a long line of slaps in the face to Angela Basset. But still, she's a star. She's a superstar. But let's see what she had to say. Angela Basset addressed the pay gap between men and women in entertainment in 2018 with Elle magazine. It's upsetting. It's ridiculous. It makes no sense whatsoever, Basset told the publication of unequal pay between men and women in Hollywood. It says that the male is more important, is more valuable, and that's not so. That's not true. The work is important. Women, we work just as hard and long hours as well. We don't get shorter hours, and I think it's just a standard that's been upheld. For what reason? I don't know. I'm glad that we're breaking through that, at least in this town. So she was being a lot more diplomatic than the rest of them. And she says she doesn't know why they're upholding that standard. Well, it's because it's a man's world. And she is married to a successful male actor. And she also is not making it about race. She's making it about gender. So I guess she has learned that it doesn't do any good to complain. All it does is put a black mark by your name, I guess. But anyway, she recognizes the difference, but apparently she doesn't want to make a big deal out of it. Well, they're still complaining. Let's see who else is complaining. My, someone who never complains. Octavia Spencer. My homegirl, as we used to say in college. Well, let's see what she's saying. Octavia Spencer has spoken out multiple times regarding pay inequality in Hollywood. She revealed in 2019 that LeBron James had to intervene during her salary negotiations for Madam CJ, which James executive produced in order for her to receive a fair check. noting the importance of men advocating for what is right regarding their female counterparts. Well, good for LeBron James. She shared a similar lesson when she revealed Jessica Chastain helped her get paid 5 times more than originally quoted on a project they were starring in together after the pair had a conversation about the racial inequality in Hollywood. Wow, 2 people had to intervene on her behalf. LeBron James and Jessica Chastain. Well, shout out to both of those decent human beings. I think my goal is to make sure that all women of color get equal pay, and all women get equal pay, Spencer said. The only way to do it is to have these conversations, to talk numbers with your co-stars. Jessica and I stood together, and that was interesting that she would take that position. Well, I mean, she is Jessica Chastain. Well, this is going to continue to happen to black actors, black singers, black everybody until you take a stand. Black people are a very vibrant audience. Tyler Perry has been able to amass billion-dollar status with a bunch of one-dimensional characters. And so, a hint to the wise. Well, we have one more that's complaining, and let's see who that is. None other than the Queen Bee herself. Let's see what she has to say. Beyonce addressed the nationwide pay gap between women and men in a 2014 essay for the Shriver Report. Today, women make up half of the U.S. workforce, but the average working woman earns only 77% of what the average working man makes. But unless women and men both say this is unacceptable, things will not change. Men have to demand that their wives, daughters, mothers, and sisters earn more, commensurate with their qualifications and not their gender. Equality will be achieved when men and women are granted equal pay and equal respect. So this is a pretty good sampling of black women in Hollywood. I think it's safe to say that Monique is not exaggerating. Black women are not being paid fairly, and they're not being paid what they're worth. So what has Hollywood done for black people? Robbed black people. That's what. Okay, y'all, thank you for listening. Let me know what you think about the video. Subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment, share the video, and as always, have a great day.